I hated my mother. That's right. I was a 12-year-old kid when my parents had a huge argument about a financial crisis that we were suffering from. My mom would scream at my father's face and accuse him of not being a responsible man who should take care of us. I saw a tear coming out of his eyes, but he refused to shed it. After that, he left the house and feelings of helplessness and incompetence were clearly showing on his face. I felt really sorry for him. That night, my mother screamed at me and ordered me to bed. I was very sad about the situation my mother and father have succumbed to. And when I woke up, my father had come back and asked me where my mother was. I told him, I don't know, maybe she went to get some groceries or something. But she never came back, and we later found a letter with her handwriting that said, I'm sorry, but I can't keep going on like this. I will go as far as I can to live my life and make up for the years I've wasted with you. My mother abandoned me when I needed her the most. I love her, but why she would do such a thing? My father looked everywhere for her, but she disappeared and left no trace behind her. My father was psychologically exhausted and tried to hide his frustration in front of me. He refused to get married again and decided to take care of me. I was their only child and my father brought me until I graduated. I traveled the world and met a man that I really loved. He was my whole life. Afterwards, we got married and lived in my father's house. See, my father left the house and went on to live in a small apartment. But after a short while, he passed away and left me enough money to build my life and secure my future. Years passed and I was fortunate enough to have my first child. She was a smart and beautiful girl. I loved her so much and I was ready to give the world to her. She's the one who filled the gap my family had left inside of me. I was able to finally have a family and live happily, but this happiness was cut short when my daughter was 3 years old. She would stand every day on one specific spot outside the house in the garden and talk to the ground. I thought it was a normal thing, especially for a girl at her age. Imagining a friend and talking with it is very common at that age. But this was different. My daughter stood at the same spot every day and would talk and laugh as if someone was talking to her too. One day, and as she was sitting there playing and talking to her imaginary friend whom we got accustomed to, she suddenly started screaming hysterically, and when I tried consoling her, she started talking to her friend, Rachel. My daughter was telling her to stop showing that sad face or she would be cross with her. Then I asked my daughter who Rachel was, and she told me that this was her imaginary friend she was telling me about. Rachel told my daughter that she loved me and that she never left me and that she was always by my side. Rachel was the name of my mother. This couldn't have possibly been a coincidence. That's why I decided to get a shovel at night and dig the same spot my daughter was standing on. And after a lot of digging, I discovered some old pieces of clothes and some bones that were clearly ones of decomposed body. It was my mother's body! Yes! It was her body! My father killed her and wrote the letter to himself and made me believe that she left us! My mother was by my side all this time! She never left me! I'm really sorry, Mom. And from then on, I started hating my deceiving father. I have misjudged you, Mom. I wish I could go back in time and be with you. I didn't discover the truth until it was late. I miss you so much.